Good morning, students. Welcome to the data structure session. In today's topic, we are going to see about Kruskal's algorithm and cut vertex. Cut vertex and one more topic, biconnectivity. So these are the three important things we are going to see in today's class. In the last session, we saw about the Prim's algorithm. Yes, hope you all know. It is one of the important applications of graph. By using that algorithm, we are able to find the minimum spanning tree. MST stands for minimum spanning tree. So to find the MST, there are two important algorithms, major algorithms, Prim's algorithm and then Kruskal's algorithm. Yes, hope you all remember that one. Let's see this one. Before getting into cut vertex and biconnectivity, let's have a quick recap about the Prim's and the Kruskal's algorithm. I have given one homework problem. How many of you solved that one? Please have it with you. Let's discuss at the end of the session. Okay. So this is the graph we have seen for the Prim's algorithm. What's the logic we have followed in Prim's algorithm? Initially, we have to start from any one vertex. You can choose any vertex as the source vertex. Here in this example, I have chosen 1 as the source vertex. This graph only we have discussed in the last session for Prim's algorithm. Now we are going to see the same thing for the Kruskal's algorithm. Okay, as told earlier, only the logic differs, but both the algorithms are meant for finding the minimum spanning tree, MST. MST stands for minimum spanning tree. That means I have to visit all the nodes in the graph, okay? Not more than once. I repeat, you have to visit all the nodes. You should not skip any node, any vertex in the particular graph, but at the end, there should not be any closed loop. Okay, if any loop formation occur means you should not visit that place. You have to come back and you have to visit some other place. Finally, you are going to visit. You are going to span all the vertices of the given graph. So that is the objective of getting the minimum spanning tree. Here you are going to find out by using minimum cost. Because here weight is assigned 28, 10, 25, 24 and all. They are the weights that are assigned. And this 28 is assigned for the edge between 1 and 2. 16 assigned between 2 and 3. Yes. So let's quickly revise the Prim's. Then we move on to Kruskal's. Then only you will be able to understand the difference. What we did in Prim's algorithm, initially we start with the any vertex as the source vertex. I have taken 1 as the source vertex. Yes. Find its adjacent vertices. What are the adjacent vertices for 1, 6 and 2? Their weights are what? 10 and 28. Choose the minimum cost. Yes, from 1 to 6 I have done. Then from 6 you are going to find the adjacent vertices. Only one vertex is there. So you have to make it as 25. Then from 5, what are the things you have done? There are 2 adjacent vertices with the cost what? 24 and 22 in their corresponding edges. Here what you have to choose the minimum cost. Minimum cost is 22. So from 5 I am going to traverse to 22. Yes, you all have the notes with you. Just have a look at it. Then we move on to the Kruskal's algorithm. So from 22 what I have to do? There are 2 edges from 4. 18 and 12 I have to choose the minimum cost. Yes. So 12 is there. From 22 I am going to 12. Then from 12 only one path is there with weight 16. Then from 16 with weight what? Here this is 14. The cost is 14. The same graph I have taken. Okay. So with that we have found the total cost as what? 99. This is the result of your Prim's algorithm. Yes. Choosing any one vertex as source vertex, find its adjacent vertices. In that, choose the minimum cost. Then move to that particular vertex, find its adjacent vertices, choose the minimum cost. Like that, you have to proceed. That is the Prim's algorithm. Now we are going to see the Kruskal's algorithm. Just the person who has found this algorithm, Kruskal. Here what we have to do means, initially we are going to start with the edge having minimum vertex, minimum cost. Okay, so first look at all the edges. Which one is having the minimum cost? The edge with the weight what? 10. Okay, you have to choose that one first. Okay, so now let me draw. So choose here 1, then what? 1 and 6 connected with the weight 10. So first choose this one. Then instead of moving to the adjacent vertices as seen in the Prim's algorithm, here you have to find the next minimum weight. Yes, the next minimum cost. Okay. Hope you are all listening. What is the next minimum cost? 12. So see the weight, 28, 14, 16, 24, 18, 22, 25 and 12. So the next minimum cost is 12, which connects the two vertices 3 and 4. Okay, so you have to draw 3 and 4 separately here. So here 3 and 4. Draw the, put the weight. Okay, this is the algorithm, or these are the steps to be followed for Kruskal's algorithm. Yes, listen carefully. So first I have chosen among all the vertices, find the cost of minimum weight. So 10 is the minimum weight. So I have chosen first. This is the first step. Okay, you number the vertices later. Then what is the next minimum cost? 12. So it is connected between the vertices 3 and 4. Just I have mentioned. Okay. So then find the next lowest weight. What is the next lowest weight? 10 is over, 12 over, and then 14 is there. Now you may have some doubt. Suppose I am having two edges with the same cost, means you have to choose one by one. And the thing to be followed is by connecting the vertices, you should not get the cycle formation. If any cycle formation occurs, means you should not do that one. You have to go with the some other alternate edge. Okay, in this way you are going to find the minimum spanning tree. Suppose I am having the same weight here 12 and also here 12, means after connecting 3 and 4, then you have to go with 4 and 7 instead of 18. If I have 12, means you can go with the one by one if the edges are having same weights. Okay, now we are not having the same weight. Next, which edge you have to choose? The edge with cost 14. Okay, you have to proceed in the ascending order, starting from the minimum cost. That is the principle to be followed in Kruskal's algorithm. Okay, so what is the next one? 14. Okay, so 14 is connected between which vertices? 2 and 7. Yes, so just you have to connect and put the edge. Yes, let's number the vertices, then only will be clear. Because if any vertex is repeated, means you should not do that one. So 6 and 7. At the end, what is the thing you have to check? You have to visit all the vertices, but there should not be any cycle formation. These are the two things applicable for both Prim's algorithm and Kruskal's algorithm. Okay. So now, what is the next weight? 10 over, 12, and then 14 over. Okay. Next, what is the next node? That is the 16. Yes, I have to connect 16. Okay, because I have to make it as a minimum spanning tree. Got it? First 16, then what? 4, and then what? 22, 24, 25. Suppose what I have to choose? 22. 22 between the vertices 4 and 5. Okay, in this way you have to proceed. Let me go with the PPT because we are running out of time. But in the example here also it's mentioned clearly. Okay, no need to worry. The same example. Okay, So first I have chosen initially all the nodes are unvisited. Yes, this is the thing we have seen in the last class for the Prim's algorithm. Likewise, we are going to see for Kruskal's algorithm. Okay. Yes. Initially, all the nodes are unvisited. Okay. So now come to step 2. I have chosen the minimum weight. 10 is there connected between the vertices 1 and 6. Okay. Then what is the minimum weight? 12. I put it in the board. Okay. I put for 3 steps. Now you can easily check this PPT. It will be more clear. 3 and 4 connected. So with the weight as what? 12. Okay. Then what is the next minimum vertex? 14. As mentioned earlier, 14 is connected. Step 4. Yes. Then what is the next minimum cost? 16. You have to choose 16. Look at this 5th step here. 16 is connected. Okay. Then what is the next one? 22. Okay. And then 25. Now I move back to this one. Whiteboard, it will be clear. So 10, 12, 14 and over. Now I am going to connect 16. Okay. What's the next thing you have to do? You have to check the next minimum cost. 18 is there. 18 is, if I connect 18, what will happen? If I connect 18, what will happen? Closed loop. Okay, this will become a graph. But this is not our objective. We have to find the minimum spanning tree. Okay, so you should not choose this one. Got it? This is the important condition you have to check. Okay, suppose because you can ask 10, 12, 14, 16 and then 18 is there. If I choose the edge with cost 18 means if I am connecting 7 and 4, it will become a graph structure. But Kruskal's algorithm is to find the minimum spanning tree by visiting all the edges. Okay, so you should not choose this path with cost 18. Then what you have to do? You can go with the next cost, next minimum cost. So among 22, 24, 25 and 28, what else you can choose? 22. Okay, so I can connect 4 and 5 with cost 22. Okay, got it? So what is the, you can name the vertex, then it will be clear. So this is 4, this one is 5. Totally how many vertices we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vertices we have. Okay, now is it a complete spanning tree? Not yet. Okay, then what you have to do? Find the minimum cost from the vertex 5. 24 and 25 are there. Okay, you can choose what? 24. So, but if I choose 24, what will happen? Cycle formation occurs. Okay, listen carefully. If you miss any one of these terms, you won't understand the principle of Kruskal's algorithm. Okay, you can tell among 24 and 25, the minimum cost is 24. But if I connect this, these vertices 5 and 7 means it will become a closed loop, closed graph. Okay, you can't do this. So what you have to do? I have to go with the next minimum cost. What is the next one? Only one possible solution. 5 and 6 connected. Yes, with the number with the cost as 25. Okay. Now you have to check whether all the nodes are visited. That is the important thing you have to check. So 1 is visited, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. All nodes are visited, but there is no closed loop. No closed cycle. Because if closed loop means it will become a graph. But Prim's and Kruskal's algorithms are used for finding the minimum spanning tree. Okay, I have to make it as a tree structure. So this is my final spanning tree. Got it? This is a way of using the Kruskal's algorithm. Okay, so now find the total cost. So 10, you can add all the weights. 10, 14, 16, 12, 22 and then 25. So what you will get? 99. I am getting the answer as 99. Okay, in Prim's algorithm also we got the minimum cost as 99. But in some problems you will get the difference, but mostly you will get the same weight. That is your minimum cost. Minimum spanning tree with the cost as 99. This is the result of your Kruskal's algorithm. Okay, got it? So these are the two important algorithms for finding the minimum spanning tree. This is mainly used in, it is one of the important applications of graph, as mentioned earlier. Okay, so to construct the road transport or to construct the railway transport, but I have to connect all the places. That is my ultimate aim. So I have to go with any of the algorithms because only minimum cost is used. Okay, so these are the applications of graph. Got it? So this is your final step. This is the last step I have mentioned using the Kruskal's algorithm. Okay. Now we are going to see the next important topic, cut vertex. Otherwise called as articulation point. I am going to explain everything in the board only. You can listen carefully. Okay. So cut vertex and biconnectivity both are interrelated one. Cut vertex means by the name itself what it implies. If I cut any one vertex in a graph, if the graph become disconnected, then that is called as the cut vertex. Again I repeat, in a graph you are having some set of vertices. Okay. If I remove any one vertex, if the graph become disconnected means then that is called as cut vertex. This cut vertex is otherwise called as articulation point. I'll explain here. I'll go with another book because I will save all these things and I will put it in the PPT and I'll post in the Google Classroom. So we move on with the articulation point. Cut vertex is otherwise called as the articulation point. Okay. You have to find whether any articulation point is there in your graph or not. That is the thing, because in a network, suppose you are having some 20 nodes. If I am going to disconnect any one node means it should not disconnect all the other parts. Okay. So if it get disconnected means then that particular node is called as the articulation point. Okay, you have to find that articulation point and you have to find alternate steps. Because if that node get removed means, if the entire graph get disconnected means there won't be any path from moving from one vertex to other vertex. So you have to choose, you have to find whether the graph is having articulation point or not. It is considered as an error in the network. Okay. So let's see a simple example. So you are having just 3 nodes, or I can just make it as a name itself. So you are having A connected to B connected to C. Yes. A connected to B. Assume it as the nodes or the vertices. I didn't mention the round symbol, just these are the vertices. A, B, C are connected. Okay. Suppose if I remove this B, what will happen? If I remove or if I delete this particular vertex B means what will happen? These two edges will get disconnected. Yes. Obviously, if I remove the vertex means because B is connected to A, this edge will get removed. C connected to B, this edge will also get removed. What will happen? This will become a separate node. This will become a separate node. Okay. These are called as the components. So in a graph, initially you are having 3 vertices A, B, C connected by 2 edges. Okay. So if I remove the middle node, B means what happens? These 2 edge gets deleted. So this A become a separate component and C become a separate component. Okay. So now this B is called as the articulation point because they get disconnected. A becomes separate. A is present, A is given mentioned as separate node. C is also hanging. It is mentioned as a separate node. But these two are considered as 2 separate components. A single node can also be called as a graph. Yes, but they become separate components. So now this point B is considered as the articulation point. Okay. Suppose, assume that you are having the same representation A, B. Are you able to follow? Because these things we can't put it in slide and mention. So only I am mentioning, I am explaining it in the board. Anyone unmute and tell, are you able to follow? Yes or no? Yes, ma'am. Okay, I got one answer in chat. Okay, good. So suppose I am having graph like this. Just bear with my handwriting. This is vertex D. Okay. Just I have modified the first example. Okay, to make you easy understanding of the articulation point, I am explaining the simple examples. Yes, so this is your D, vertex D. Okay, now if I remove B means what will happen? If I remove B, I am going to remove this one. Though I remove B here, the graph is still connected. Graph remains connected because A and D connected, D and C connected. Okay, there is no relationship with these edges. These edges won't get disconnected. Only this edge and this edge will get disconnected. So what will be your resultant graph? A, D, and then C. Yes, this is a graph structure only. Okay, now this B is not considered as the articulation point. Are you able to follow? In this graph, in the second graph, though I remove any one vertex, if the graph remains connected means then that is not considered as the articulation point. Yes, you now take it in the reverse way. If I remove any one vertex, if the graph get disconnected means then that vertex is considered as the articulation point. Got it? So let's move with another example. The same thing itself we can draw in a further way. So A, okay, I'm having B. You have to tell what is the articulation point here. Now tell me, is there any articulation point in this graph? Articulation point means if I remove any one vertex, if the graph get disconnected, then that is called as the articulation point. What will happen? So now tell me, in this graph, is there any articulation point? I can say it in the yes, ma'am. What is the articulation? Sorry. Which vertex is considered as the
C, ma'am.
Yes, very good. C. If I remove C, if I remove this node C means what? These 4 edges get disconnected. Yes, this one. C connected with A, C connected with D. Yes, so this edge will disconnected. This one will get disconnected. This one and this one. So what will happen? Your resultant vertex graph will be what? A and B will be present as such. Okay, D and E will be there. So DE, yes. So these two are called as what? Separate components. Two components of this graph. If I remove any vertex, then if it results in more than one components means then that particular vertex or that particular point is called as the articulation point, otherwise called as cut vertex. Because if I remove this vertex C, the graph become disconnected because all the edges will be deleted. Okay. Now look, just imagine with the real-time application. Here these are considered as roads. A, B, C, D, E are considered as cities. Yes. Suppose if the roads are disconnected, suppose if there is no road from C to D, C to E, C to B and C to A, means what will happen? This entire thing become detached. Okay. Yes. So I can't go to that particular city. So this is one of the failure node. So you have to find out the failure node while constructing the network. Because if I find the particular failure node, means I can go with the alternate solution to reduce or to overcome that articulation point. Got it? So before constructing any network, this articulation point mainly used for finding the error in your network. Okay, for that only I told that city example. You can imagine these as the roads. All these roads get disconnected. If I remove the particular city, I can't go to the particular place. Okay, so these two become the separate components. So the C is considered as your cut vertex. Now, again I go with the same thing. Suppose in this example, if F is there, if I remove C, what? Again the C is your articulation point, but this D, E, F, there is no change at all. Okay? There is no change in the D, E and F. These two are the two separate components. Yes. So this one articulation point can split the graph into many components. Yes, you have to identify the articulation point. For that, we are going to use the DFS. In the DFS, I have mentioned the application. One of the applications of DFS is to find the articulation point. Okay, so you are going to apply DFS in a given graph, whether there is a presence of articulation point or not. Okay, we can go with a simple example. For that, just you have to apply the DFS, then you have to find the lowest number. Let's move with another example, it will be clear. Are you able to understand? I will rub these things. So if I remove any vertex, if I cut any vertex, if the graph become disconnected, means then that is called as the articulation point. I told another concept in the beginning, cut vertex and biconnectivity. What will be biconnectivity? A graph is said to be biconnected if there is no articulation point at all. Okay, these are the two interrelated concepts. If there is no articulation point in your graph, then the graph is said to be biconnected. It is having biconnected components. Okay, that is the relationship between the biconnectivity and the cut vertex. Got it? There is one term called SCC in your graph, strongly connected components. We can able to identify the strongly connected components in a graph. So these are the connected components. A and B is a connected component. D, E, F are the connected components. Suppose if I am connecting these two things, this one become an entire graph. There is no articulation point at all. Okay. So this is your biconnected graph or strongly connected graph. Okay. Again, I repeat, a graph is said to be biconnected if it contains no articulation point. Yes, what is articulation point? If I am going to remove any vertex in a graph, Then if the graph become disconnected means then that vertex is called as the articulation point. So normally in a network, consider thousands of nodes. Even if a node fails, it should not affect all other nodes. That is important. Okay. Because in a network, in our lab network, we are having so many systems connected in a network through a server. If any one particular computer fail means it should not affect all other computers. Okay, for that you have to check whether there is any articulation point in your network. Okay, so to remove the articulation point, you have to connect all the components. For that you are using the depth first search. Yes. So I can draw a simple example. You can also draw it parallelly. So this is your graph having 6 nodes. Without copying or without noting all these things in your notebook parallel, you can't able to understand clearly. So this is your graph. Because there is one closed loop at some point, so this is considered as your graph. You can take this example. We are having 6 vertices connected each other. Strongly connected means what? Every vertex to be connected with every other vertex, but that is not needed here. Okay. So now we are going to start with the DFS. Apply depth first search for this particular graph. What is DFS? Let's have a quick recap. What do you mean by DFS? I'm going to start from any one node. I'm going to proceed vertically. Go to that adjacent node. From that adjacent node, find its adjacent vertex. Then move to that particular vertex. If there is no more adjacent vertex means what you have to do? Go with backtracking. Got it? Backtracking is possible in DFS. It is not possible in BFS, breadth first search. Okay, don't get confused. So what I am going to do? Initially, I am going to start with 1 in DFS. DFS, you have to visit all the nodes. From 1, where I have to go? 4. Either I can move to 2 or 4. Yes, I have to choose any one adjacent vertex, go to that particular vertex, then find a adjacent vertex for that particular vertex, then proceed further. At the end, you have to visit all the nodes. Okay, in the pink I am mentioning the DFS order. From 1 I go to 4. Then from 4 where I can go, there is only one adjacent vertex from 4, that is 3. Yes. From 3 there are 2 adjacent vertices, 5 and 6. Either I can choose 5 or I can choose 6. Okay, here I have mentioned as 5. Yes. Now what is the next step? There are no more adjacent nodes from 5. What you have to do? Backtrack. Okay, just I will mention it in the dotted line. Backtrack. Then which node I have to visit? Find is there any other adjacent node to 3? Yes, 6 is there. Yes. Listen carefully. From 6 you are going to check whether there are any adjacent nodes. There are no adjacent nodes. So what you have to do? Again backtrack. Backtrack to the same node, its parent node. It is its parent node, 3. Just for understanding, I am mentioning, I will draw it again clearly. So 3. From 3 you are checking, is there any other adjacent node? No. Okay, what do you have to do? 5, 6, 4 and 2. Yes, one more node which is not visited. 2 is there. So from 3 I am going to 2. Now we didn't stop the process. From 2 you have to check is there any adjacent node. There is only one adjacent node 1, but it is already visited. Okay, so you can stop. Yes, got it. So now I'll again write it separately. I started from 1. Okay, I go to 4. Then I went to 3. Then 5. Then what? 6. Yes. Okay, from 1 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 then again I came back to 3, then I visited 6. From 6 where I have go 6 to 3. Because this dotted line is important for finding for checking the articulation point. Okay. So from 3, which node I have visited? 2. Okay. From 5, I have moved back to 3 also. So this is the order of the DFS for this particular graph. Take it in your classwork note or in your paper, anything which you have. Just by looking at it, it won't be useful. So this is the order of the DFS. Okay. So here, what's the next thing means you have to find the discovery time. DFS time or discovery time. First, I have applied the DFS. There are 3 steps you have to follow to check whether your graph is having articulation point or not. Okay. First thing is apply DFS. That we know. You have to start with the depth first search for the given graph. That is the first step. Second step, find the discovery time. That is the order of the visiting of nodes. No need to get panic. So just the discovery time for 1 is what? This is the first node I have visited. So discovery time equal to 1. Okay. What's the next node I have visited? 2. Yes. Here discovery time equal to 2. Okay. What's the next node I have visited? 3. So here discovery time equal to 3. The next node visited is 5. Here discovery time or DFS time. You can call it in any order. Just in short, I mentioned it as DT. In the formula and all in books and other things, they mention it as D. D refers to the discovery time. Because we have to check some condition. Discovery time and the lowest time. So here the discovery time of 5 is 4. From 5 where I have traversed 6. So the discovery time of 6 is what? 5. You have to mention the order in which you visited the vertices. That's the thing. From 6 again I backtrack to 3. Don't put it as again 6 here because already you have visited 3. The next node visited is what? 2 and the discovery time is 6. Okay. The order of visiting the nodes, that is your discovery time. So this one, the discovery time is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6. You have to put the vertices, then you have to mention the discovery time and then you have to find the lowest number. We will continue in the next class. With this thing I will stop. If you have any doubts you can ask. After finding the lowest time, you have to compare the discovery time and the lowest time. If it is greater means then particular vertex is identified as the articulation point. You can ask for a simple graph, you can easily say whether the particular node. Here for this graph, you can easily say by disconnecting C, this will become, the entire graph will become hanging. Okay, disconnected. So C is the articulation point. Suppose I have some 50 nodes or 100 nodes. I have to go with this formula. Okay, apply DFS, find the discovery time, and the third step is find the lowest number reachable. Then you have to check one condition. After that, you are finding the articulation point. Okay, got it? So with this, I stop. Thank you, students. If you have any doubts, you can post it in chat.